All right, today we are actually going to be tearing into Earl. And whenever I first built Earl back in the early days, back in the trailer, I had to get it done quickly because in the area I was at, it was, you had 3 days of it looking like it was down. I had no garage. So when I had the motor out and everything like that, there were issues. And, it automatically looked like it was, it wasn't running. And so I had to hurry up and get it going. And there were a lot of things I had to kind of cut corners on a little bit, speed things past. So what we're going to do today is correct some of those issues. And one of those issues is the rat's nest that is behind that there dash. So what I'm planning on doing, and Michael's going to help me because he actually needs to figure out what's behind this and everything. So we're going to dive into this. So let's go ahead and open it up. So if you're going to remove this dash, what you're going to do is there's going to be a bolt on that side and a bolt on that side. And then now if this is a fully stock, everything like that, you're going to need to remove this whole cluster piece right here. And then there's 4 bolts that hold the cluster piece on, and then 4 bolts that actually hold on the cluster itself. And then there's the bolt on that side, bolt on that side. You got to take out the dashboard or the glove box in order to get it out. And then, we'll have to take out we can unplug the air fuel meter. And then, there's one more bolt in the middle that we'll have to do. And that's it. And then we'll pull this thing right on out. So it'll actually be really easy. I can probably do it in about 10, 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So,
it won't take long.
Nah, it won't take long. I've had it out so many times. Last time I had it out, I simplified it. So made it a lot easier.
Only these bolts you needed to hold it.
Yeah, we don't need all these. These bolts aren't needed anymore. So, we're going to go ahead and knock into that. And, I like this new camera setup. We just went ahead and, figured since we're up to 1,000, might as well upgrade the camera. We've been using GoPros this whole time, and we'll still use them. But honestly, I've been kind of having some issues with it, just like shutting off after 5, 15 seconds, whatever. Just whenever it felt like it would just shut off.
It did its own thing.
Yeah.
In its own world.
Yeah. And so we were just like, you know what? Let's upgrade. And so I went out and got me a camera that everybody seems to use on YouTube. And so, I hope the camera
seems to be a proven platform.
Yeah, I hope the quality's better. Got the external mic and everything. So just want to go ahead and improve things. Always got to be investing. And but
we're about to start cleaning some stuff up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and correct some issues from back at the trailer. Okay, so I actually went ahead and made this little thing right here. So this is, there we go. That's in the shot. Wait. There we go, Patrick. Okay, so I actually made this. This is not real diamond plate. This is actually like a aluminum mock diamond plate. And I have a bunch of switches there. As you can see, I'm only going to need like 2 or 3 of them at this time, but hey, extras. Now this last one on the right, that's a dummy one because as I was putting them in, I'd already cut it out for it, but you can't hear it, but there's something inside there that is loose, but that is okay. We're not going to need that. It's okay. We won't be needing it right now, anyways. And in that little hole right there was where the start button is actually going to go. So this is going to be fun. It's going to be different. It won't be the way it used to be, but we got to get rid of all those wires. See how nasty it looks? I want it to look good. Like it just looks bad. And it's all me. I did it. So, but it is time for me to correct my mistake. So let's do it. Okay. So, you remember what it looked like? Look at this now. Look at all that. All that stuff is gone. It's all down here on the ground. Right there. It's all down there now. And so, let's talk about what we got going on here. So, obviously we have a fuse box that me and Michael actually recently added because I just had a bunch of just spare, fuses just made. But we're going to go over what we got here. So we have the starter relay. You will need a starter relay. And so the white wire, hold on, let me grab one of these things so I can just be like, yeah, this is what that is, blah, blah, blah. So 85 on the starter relay is going to be your ground. It's going to run up and to the ground. 87, which is your yellow wire right here, that is going to be running to your actual starter solenoid, okay? 86, that's the black wire. On this particular vehicle, it actually comes from the white wire on the ignition switch, okay? So that's what ties into the black wire, which is 86. And then the blue wire, which is, I believe, 30. So 30 is where you're going to get your fused 12-volt source. So as you can see, we're running right over here to this here 20-amp fuse. You're going to want to use the 20-amp fuse. And so then this is going to just go, oh, we're going to hold it out because I need to know what numbers it is for all the other ones too. Like this one right here. This is your torque converter lockup. So this right here is sort of necessary. It locks and unlocks your torque converter when necessary, as if you're going into coast and whatnot like that. So definitely necessary. So let's see here. So the purple wire, which is 30, that is your signal wire coming from the ECU, okay? And then 86, which is this wire, which I have a lot of green wires, which sucks. 86 is actually going to be your ground. It's going to be your all the way to the ground. And then, so 87A on this one, you're actually, on this particular truck, what I did was I actually took you want to get the 12-volt source from when the brakes are applied. So once you hit the brakes and it sends power to go out to the brake lights, that wire you're going to want. You can tap it, you can use a little tap into it, if you're just trying to keep everything. If not, do like me and just, mine had 2 orange wires coming off the brake switch. I cut one of them and I used it to go to that, and it runs over to 87A. So 85. Now 85, that one's a bit more tricky. So that one runs over here to the brake switch, and on the brake switch, you have multiple you'll have like 2-post brake switches, and you'll have 4-post brake switches. In order for this to work, you're going to need to do the 4-post brake switch. And luckily the S10 had one. Now I thought that the purple wire was what I needed on this S10, but what I ended up tying into was the white wire that comes off of this brake switch. So if you're working on an S10, you're going to want to take from the brake switch, the white wire on the brake switch. So let's see here. And if you're just using a 4-post, you're going to have like a post, 2 up here and 2 down here. Go for the 2 down here. That's the post you're going to go for. Let's see. And that's all really for the torque converter lockup relay. Then over here, this is my ignition relay. And so obviously for my ignition relay, I run a wire over here, and I actually tapped into the pink wire that was coming out of my ignition switch. That's how I got my ignition. But because we're running it to a fuse box, it actually runs up here, and it's going to go to a, not to a fuse box, but to a toggle panel. So it's actually going to come up here to a toggle switch that I showed you a minute ago. And that's what these 2 wires are. I just like to have, just in case I needed a ground, I had a ground up there. And so that's that. And then this right here is actually my fuel pump relay. I went with some heavy gauge wire. These 2 things actually came with the standalone wiring harness. So if you're going for a standalone wire harness, these 2 things are going to be here. But you're going to want to upgrade the wire if you've gone with a Walbro or anything like that, then you're going to upgrade the wire that runs over to the fuel pump, because they can get kind of hot because they don't quite have what the Walbro would like. You don't have to go big. You don't have to go with a 10 gauge. You can go with a 14 gauge. It'll be plenty fine. And let's see here. All these are the fuses. Basically, all of these are engine-related fuses. All ignition and whatnot. Nothing. I mean, like I said, if you got that standalone wiring harness, this will be all ready for you to go. And I want to get this metal out of there before it falls into there. Let's see here. I actually, for the starter relay, it doesn't have a fuse over here, so you got to have a fused power. So that's where this other fuse box comes in. I actually have another fuse box up front as well. It doesn't take a lot. Like that's all the fuses. That's all the fuses, all the relays. Like this is everything that is needed to run the truck. Like that's all that's needed right there. So I mean, there's a lot of wires that was eliminated that were just going to. There were a lot of redundancies, a lot of stuff that I'm not using anymore. And like all this right here, this is all going to like the gauge cluster and whatnot like that. So that's all, set up. And then all these things right here, these are all stuff for the actual like turn signals and, stuff like that. So we're going to leave that right there. I'm going to end up having to wire up the headlights and everything like that, but it's not hard. We're going to go to a toggle switch so that just like everything else. I mean, it's going to be very simplified. But I mean, that's really everything. I mean, you got the computer right here, which this is going to go in the glove box. So this will go up and out, up into the glove box, which I'll show you in just a second. So, first video with the new camera. Nice. But let me go ahead, because I want to go ahead and get that put in, and I got to get that put back in, which is not going to be that hard, but it's going to make it look so much better once I do that. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so there we go. Everything's back in, and it went so easily without all those wires in the way and everything like that. But I mean, check out that switch panel. I mean, it looks good in here. Everything looks so good. So like I was saying about the whole, see, fits right up in there, easily accessible if I ever have to get to it and take it out. So, and I had mentioned when taking this thing out that there was only the screws down the bottom, but there's also 4 across the top as well. I did not mention. Sorry about that. I do apologize. I will try to remember to put some sort of graphic in there to acknowledge that. But that's going to be it, guys. And now we just got to clean out the inside of this thing. As you can see, I've gotten everything out the back, so it's no longer, well, except for that one box, but that's a heavy, heavy box. But like I said, pretty much got everything out the back of this thing. So yeah, you can actually, on one of these days when it isn't snowing, ooh, wow, it's really close. Yeah, so maybe one of these days when it's not snowing and it's kind of dry outside, we could actually take Earl out, because I don't want to take Earl out with it ice, with the freaking salt on the ground, because all this here patina and all this stuff like that, the rust and everything, all this up here, it'll just get eaten right through. So got to be careful with Earl. Earl is a delicate little flower, so gotta be careful with her. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the day, guys. I'm so happy I got that done. I mean, I think because of the way, so if you've ever done the wiring and everything like that, it kind of messes with your brain a little bit, or at least it did with mine. Maybe not everybody's. Some people are way smarter than me. But yeah, I had some issues. It kind of stressed me out a little bit, and I just got done with what I could. It worked. It worked fantastic, but it wasn't pretty. I had to do a lot of work to it, but yeah, I went ahead and finally cleaned it up, and yeah, it looks so much better. I feel much more confident going in there and troubleshooting instead of having all those wires everywhere. But like I said, that's going to be it, guys. All right, guys. Thank you for hitting that like and subscribe button. And hey, just thank you for watching the video. So later.